What a great presentation. We have only a couple more for you. The next group consists of Young Perry and Hunter Bigford, and they are going to be presenting to you about the plot arc of the novel Call of the Wild.
Okay, so our mural is a plot arc from Call of the Wild. We kind of designed it so it looks like a mountain, and the dogs are climbing up. And then, like, you see the Yukon in the background. And then, the exposition is, like, Buck's life before he got captured with Judge Miller and with his other friends. And the turning point is the moment when Buck gets captured. And then rising action is when Buck's life starts to change, when he's becoming more of a wild dog, stronger, fitter. The climax is when this guy named John Thornton rescues Buck from being abused by these two men. And then following action is Buck's life with John Thornton. And then the resolution is when Buck answers to the Call of the Wild.
I love your design for the plot arc to be a mountain that sort of goes along with the story. I just want to make a point too. It's interesting your interpretation of the novel, the climax being when he's rescued from that first bad situation and goes into another master and dog situation. Interesting that you saw that as the climax, and you sent me an email. What is the climax, Mr. Martin? And I tried not to answer. I was just like, look, here's a summary of everything that happens. Think about it for yourself, and you decide what you think the climax is. Well, because you might see it that you might think the climax of the story actually is when Buck succumbs to the Call of the Wild, and even though he loves his master and he's gotten over all the change he had to go through, he makes a choice almost at the very end to abandon even that and just vanish. And then if that was the climax, was his decision to just basically log off completely and get away from the foolish people and go back to nature. That's what, in a way the theme group didn't go there with it, but in a way the theme of the story is maybe a bigger theme could be you're turning your back on civilization and society and like the wrecked world of people, because that's what Buck does. He turns away from all that in the end. So it could be that might be the climax too, is his decision to just abandon it all. And in that case, the following action then would be as he starts to become like a ghost dog that raises the other dogs, and he becomes sort of like a legendary figure in the animal world after his experience. But I don't think this is wrong. It's a question of interpretation to figure out what is the climax, because that definitely is a climactic moment. And just remember too that in a novel we have more than one climax. That's why it's one climactic moment in Great Expectations that we've been reading is when one big moment that peaks a part of the action is when the convict is captured and put back on the ship. But then it resets and starts to build again. So there's multiple peaks. So it is hard to put your finger on one single peak.
We kind of tried to make it like you guys haven't read the book, so we're not trying to...
Right, you're not trying to spoil everyone. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right, keep going with the presentation. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, now we have two skits from the book that we're going to do. The first one is there's a man in the story who he wears a red sweater. He didn't have a name, but the guy who captured Buck sold it to this guy, and in the scene he beats Buck. So we're gonna do this scene real quick. Come on, dog. Come on! Get over here! What are you doing? Stupid! Come on! Let's go! Stupid dog. Jeez. Come on! In here! Get in your kennel! Now! Come on! Okay. That's our first scene. Okay.
Is he really dead?
Yeah, Buck's dead.
Okay. Hunter? Yep. Now we have one quote That was from. This is a quote like from around that time. In midair, just as his jaws were about to close on the man, he received a shock that checked his body and brought his teeth together with an agonizing clip. He whirled over, fletching the ground on his back and side. Okay, now we have another one, and this is Buck and Spitz fighting. Okay. Now we have a quote from, this is Francois and Perrault talking. That buck fight like hell, said Perrault, as he survived a grap, ripping and cuts. And that buck fight like two hells, was Francois' answer. And now we make good time. No more spits, no more trouble. Sure. Okay.
You're all done?
That's them.
All right, give it a little applause. Very good.